just got finished talking to Rich a little bit about all the personnel and chess pieces, as he likes to call them, in your group, and how excited you guys are about that room going into camp.
No, it is. You know, last year everyone kind of knew where the ball was going. You know, it was either going to Wandell or Josh. But this year we kind of got a bunch of guys that the ball could feature. So, you know, depending on the play, the personnel, the package, I mean, I feel comfortable with, you know, 6, 7, 8 guys in our room right now.
Has there been any pleasant surprises early on? You've only had a few days, but
yeah, no. You know, they kind of are what I thought they were. You know, Barryon is explosive. Tavion, coming from Virginia Tech, is exactly where I thought he'd be, a playmaker with the ball in his hands. You know, Dane's coming along great. All those guys, Chauncey, DeMarcus, Silu, DeKel, all those guys are, you know, just progressing in the right direction.
Chris Lewis in year 2, how are you seeing him progress?
You know, Chris is, I think from last spring to this camp, Chris Lewis has gotten the better, most improved in our room. You know, he's finally, I've always had him, you know, when he got here, he was, you know, 6'4", skinny, you know, and now he's put on some weight, and I've always told him, you got to learn to play big, you know, and he's starting to understand his body, and that he is 6'4", 215 or 220, whatever he is, you know, so the kid can run, he can, you know, he has strong hands going through the middle. You know, he's a smart player. You know, you can put him in multiple positions, but no, he's been impressive.
I've been really impressed with the camaraderie within the group itself. You've got all these elite guys, talented. You'd think that the competition would just go through the roof. What's kind of keeping them on the same team?
Yeah, you know what? That's one of the things I preach in the room a lot. You know, if one person eats, everybody eats, kind of deal. And we got a lot of great guys in the room that just love to see everyone be successful, you know, and it starts with, you know, Tavion, I think, brought that from him with Virginia Tech. You know, Tavion's everybody's biggest fan, and I told the guys the other day, actually, we had a good talk. That's what I love about Tavion, you know, and all those guys, Rasan, all those guys, you know, really, you know, just bring out the best in everyone. But it's not, there's no selfishness in the room, you know, and that's a rarity in the wide receiver room. You know, and that's something that I pride myself on, and they do a good job with that.
So leadership-wise, you feel really good about the group.
Yeah, you know, there's no one really in the room that has had a big, you know, successful college career so far. You know, besides Tavion's coming from Virginia Tech, but you know that was at Virginia Tech. He's new here, but all these guys are kind of taking the leadership role together. You know, even from the young guys to the old guys, they're kind of just, you know, one big group. You know, it's good to see.
As a coach, what's some of the things that you can do to kind of make sure that everybody eats? Is there anything from
you know, yeah, just kind of featuring some guys. You know, different personnel groups. We get them in. You know, we have a bunch of different ways, different routes that people. You know, Coach Skang's deal is he doesn't need everyone to run a certain route. You know, that's for Tavion and Rasan, and another route may be for, you know, Dane and Silu, and kind of that way. And we toss it around a little bit, but you know, and those guys know that. You know, with the tight ends too. Those are a good group of guys too. So it's the ball will be. You know, I don't think you're going to be able to focus on any one player. You know, on our offense, you're going to have to, you know, play defense. You know, so
what's it do for your group when potentially the best guy out there, or most experienced with Tavion, is the big cheerleader and the supporter of everyone?
What's it do? You said?
Yeah. What's it
I mean, it's just it brings the group up. You know, and you know, we always have fun. You know, that's one thing. Football is a tough game. It's a hard game, you know. As long as you're out there having fun and have it with a smile on your face, you know, that's I think what they do a good job about that.
When you have a guy like Dane who's trying to come in and do some stuff early, how much does it maybe help that his dad was a high-level player, that he's kind of soaked up some stuff?
Yeah, I think that's, you know, kind of just the way he was raised, you know. And my dad, you know, was a college football player too, and he was my high school football coach, and just kind of, you know, the expectation in the house, you know, growing up, I think that helps him a lot. And you know, Dante's a great leader of men for Dane and for DeKel, even, you know, coming from Frederick Douglass, and you know, I think that's only prepares him to be better.
About DeKel, this time a year ago, we were all talking about him as the freshman who's going to contribute when he got hurt. How have you seen him grow over the course of this year, and kind of just where is he at?
Yeah, DeKel's 100%. He is fast. He's very fast. You know, that's one thing we did to our room this year. We got faster. He's one of the guys that came in last year that is fast, but he's finally 100%. He's finally getting the hang of it. We got him playing the X. He's rolling out there, and he looks good.
How hard is it for a guy that has that much expectations to immediately get hurt and not be able to play?
You know, it was a struggle for him mentally, but I think he did the best he could. You know, we stayed on him 100% and tried to keep him engaged and stay on top of all the stuff outside of football. And then when it was time for him to be healthy and 100%, and he was locked in. He's been great ever since the spring.
What's it been like for Will having, you mentioned it was mostly Mondale and maybe another last season, having so many potential targets?
No, Will's good. He always asks me, like, even, we're talking about Jordan Anthony, right, the speedster. He's like, when am I going to get to throw a goal ball to Jordan? Like, we're trying to, talking about all the different pieces, right? We're trying to, get him going, get him on a go ball, getting Barry on going, getting all those young guys going. But, he's excited to have all these pieces. Last year kind of, teams maybe focused on Wandell, and we still were successful. So with those guys, with a bunch of different pieces, again, defenses, I don't know what they're going to do. So
Coach Stangarella was talking about how smart this team is, how smart is the receivers are.
Yeah, no, you have to be smart to play in this offense. It's a lot of verbiage, it's a lot of different things. For the most part, all our guys are pretty smart. They can play multiple positions. For the most part, I have everyone just playing one. Some of them are playing two, but it's not like most offenses where you just line up in one spot and run a couple different routes. So you're running the route tree, you're lining up in the slot, you're lining up in the wing, you're lining up outside. All our splits are different for every formation, so they got to know a bunch of stuff even before the ball snapped. And that's a struggle for those guys, but they're on it. I was very pleased today how we aligned with our alignment and assignment, but overall, it is hard, but kids want to be challenged. So if it's easy for them, they're kind of get lackadaisical, but if you get challenged, then they'll rise to that challenge.
Does that go for coaches also? What's the transition been like?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, sometimes with last year with LC, we kind of got the offense down, and in your head you kind of knew it was clicking, and now you got a little bit new terminology and all that. So sometimes you may have to close your eyes and figure it out in your head first before you see it on the field. But it's I'm learning just like those guys every day. So.
How's Liam doing? When's the last time you talked to him?
I talked to LC on the way home 2 days ago.
Yeah? What did y'all talk about? Did you talk about anything here?
We did. We talked about a little stuff here. How's it going here? How's it going out there? They had the day off. They were down in Cal Irvine. I think Coach McVay gave him the day off. It was Sunday, so gave him Sunday off. So he was driving home to see Jackson and Ashley. So everything's good on their end.
Your receiving room is just hysterical. They are young. They are always cutting up. They were cracking me up at media day.
Oh yeah.
What's it like? All those personalities, but they seem to mesh really well.
They do. They mesh really well, and all those guys are awesome. I was saying before how they just all. It's a good group. They love each other, and they all want to see each other be successful. They all want to see each other be on the field and catch the ball and all that. And that's a rare to see in the wide receiver room. There's usually in a receiver room there's a lot of selfish guys, but not in this one. That's kind of one thing I pride ourselves on. And since Coach Skang has got here, we've made it clear that it's just not going to be a Wandell or a Josh Ali show, right? And it's going to be 6, 7, 8 guys that are going to be playing and eating. So,
what makes you most excited about that room?
Just I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when we line up on Saturday or Sunday, or September 3rd, how it's going to work out. Who's going to make the catch, I don't know. And that's the exciting thing. Last year you kind of knew, all right, Wandell's going to get, this amount of catches, and all that. But if you ask me, the stats coming for September 3rd, I have zero clue.
What were the conversations like after that open practice?
Say it again.
The conversations, Will said he wasn't too pleased with how the offense played.
Yeah.
How much can you put into that? What conversations did you have?
I thought, for the most part, wide receiver wise, we were on top of our stuff. There's a couple of busts that we had in the pass game, but I think it was just a day where the defense, played better than the offense. It wasn't, the conversation was put this behind you and come out the next day. And I think the last 2 days we've stacked 2 great days offensively together.